Chris.
Hi there.
This is Sharan Tash, the professional networker, and I've invited Chris Turley, who's the president of Turley Architects, to come and speak to us about networking today. As most of you know, we are trying to talk to the best networkers in Chicago, and I do have to say that Chris has quite a niche in his market. And any of you who have heard me speak has heard me talk about Chris Turley and his great niche of loving to work with pain in the butt clients. So this is the famous Chris Turley that many of you have heard about. So thank you, Chris, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Can you tell me in one sentence, what do you do?
One sentence is very hard for an architect. Let's see. What we do is we help people focus on a bigger future. Personally, professionally, in the space that they lead, the lives they want for their family. And then we help them eliminate the obstacles, first of all, but also to create a real launching pad for that future. And so we want to inspire them and let them fill that space with that, with the lives that they've always wanted to live.
Very nice.
Is that one sentence? I'm not sure. I think it's.
It was a very long sentence.
If run-ons are permitted, I got through.
Well, we'll let it go.
There you go. Thank you.
You're not being graded.
Thanks.
What's the best piece of advice you have for making networking successful in your business?
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily related to my business. I think I think networking is really about being quiet and asking lots of questions, very pointed questions, deep questions, to really get to the core of what people want to say or to solve, or to find out what their true needs are. Because when you do that, you can find out how you can help. But more importantly than just being quiet, networking is not a sales call, and it's a chance to help other people. And so you really have to be quiet and listen to do that. So that's probably the single most important element.
I know one of the things when I first met you, it was very hard for me to meet with you as a networker because you wanted to find out about me.
Yeah.
And that is so unusual in the networking world that I knew that you got it. Because you and I were fighting over who was going to ask the questions.
Battle of the networkers. Right?
Yes, it was. So I knew that you were a very good networker just from our very first meeting.
Well, and that's really the key. Is it's very hard for people. I suppose with architects that where we're supposed to be leaders and teaching people and telling people where to go, supposedly, it's hard for us to be quiet. And so we need to be quiet. And I think that's true of everybody.
Absolutely. What's your favorite networking story of success?
Well, this happens now that I've sort of gotten into a group of people that are really are key networkers, are natural networkers. I have this happen about every couple weeks or every few months. And Ron Isaacson, who is really an excellent home inspector for people who are buying or selling properties. He also does thermal imaging and other things. But he was called in on a home inspection. And he's one of those people that are the first on the scene, first responders, if you will. And so he came in, talked to them, and he spent a few minutes talking to them. He's a very cordial guy, very smart. And over the course of that meeting and the inspection, he was able to refer myself, I think 2 or 3 builders, and a realtor, all in just one visit with somebody. And so that person fell in love with Ron because he helped them out of a real bind. I mean, they needed a lot of help and didn't know where to turn except the Yellow Pages. And so he helped them, he helped us, and we did not get the jobs necessarily. We all have to go out there and earn them. But at least we got that the ability to knock on someone's door and tell them our story. Would
you like to plug the name of Ron's business?
It's called Spaceman, and it's S-P-A-C-E, I believe a hyphen, and then M-A-N.
Very good.
But I would be happy to refer anybody to him.
Thank you. And what group are you all in?
We're in a group called the Networking Group, which was founded, I think, something like 17 years ago or 15 years ago, something like that, by about 6 guys who met in a delicatessen, and they just started meeting on a monthly basis to help each other out, and started referring to each other. Most of those guys are still in the group, and they've been joined by about 115 others. So they planted some great seeds back then.
And I'm honored to be a part of that group. If you could change one thing about networking, what would it be and why?
Well, for me, one of the things that I have been doing lately, as my circle has broadened, I'm looking for a little bit of a higher quality and helping people moving up the pyramid, if you will. And so my goal is to meet more and more with other natural networkers, people who get it. And so one of the things that I've been doing is seeking out natural networkers like yourself and working with them to mentor others who are new to the industry and new to any industry but new to networking, but also to work with the other folks to make a bigger impact in other people's lives. And so what I'm doing now is looking for one-on-one meetings with natural networkers. And then when we're trying to bring somebody in who I haven't met before, I try to do that with a couple of people, and I try to find somebody to work that will be a good connection for the other person that I'm meeting. So I often meet with 2 or 3 other people.
So if you could change the one thing from what I'm hearing is that more people would understand this idea of giving and meet with other people who are givers.
Yeah, well, the one-on-one meetings are wonderful, but they're very time-consuming. And when you do as much networking as I do, which is 4 or 5 times a week sometimes, it takes up a big chunk of time. And if you're spending a lot of time meeting with somebody who doesn't get it, who doesn't understand networking, who's interested only in taking information, then it is not the best use of time in my opinion. And so what I want to do is bring together people 2 or 3 or 4 at a time. And what I have found is not just because of time savings, but because there's a certain critical mass, and we end up helping each other a lot more because somebody else asks a question that provides me with some insight on how I can help another person at the table.
Okay, so then let's ask that question. What is your niche? So that when all of us that are watching this video see this, and certain words come to mind, we think of Turley Architects. What are those key words for us to think of?
Well, there's one key word, and it's actually kind of an acronym around here. We're looking for PITA clients. And as you know, PITA stands for pain in the neck. And the reason we're looking for those clients is not people who are, the pains that we can associate with normally, but really people who are passionate about their space. So some people come to us and they want an addition thrown on the back of their house, or they want something just like their neighbors, and those are fine. And some of those folks we work with, and some of them we refer out. We're more interested in the people who are just so passionate about their environment and about their lives that they have shoeboxes full of notes, and they have sketches, and they have, they just can't wait to get in here and talk to us. It's not because they have to, it's because they want to. And those PITA clients are the ideal for us, of any building type, of any budget at all. That's what we're looking for.
Wonderful. Well, I thank you again for taking the time to meet with us, and I congratulate you on being one of the great networkers in Chicago.
Thank you very much.
And I hope a lot of people will be calling Chris Turley, Turley Architects in Evanston, if they know anyone who would like to work with Chris and his great job of working with PITA clients.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris.